Hello and welcome to Drivenmad. Now I thought what I would do is give you a sort of long-term owner's review. I've had this car now about 1.25 years and I think I know it pretty well, and it's interesting. It's my first owned EV, so therefore it's a change that uh, I wanted to make, and I wasn't nervous of making it. To me, it was just an engine choice. It wasn't a choice of I want to save the planet. It was purely that when I drive an EV, I thoroughly enjoy how they drive, rather than I'm buying it for any environmental reason at all. So I'm not coming at this from a perspective that I now don't like diesels, or I don't, because some people really hate electric cars, and I can't get my head around it at all, because it's petrol, diesel, electric, it could be gas. I don't really care so long as I enjoy the car. Now, the Mini is a brand that, other than a little Mini when I was very young, I've not owned, and I've not particularly been attracted to them, because when I come on to the negatives of the car, that is proved to be my negative, is it's too small. But I bought the vehicle. We live very close to our man cave. It's up quite a steep hill, and I always feel that in a petrol car I sort of want to warm it up before I go up the hill. I don't know why, it's just a mental thing really. Where this, I get in it and you can just literally floor it, and I don't even have to give it a second's thought. It feels so strong and so powerful that you just don't give it a second's thought that you're doing any damage at all, which I do to a petrol car or a diesel car. So the positives of this Mini is I'm incredibly surprised about its build quality. It's been absolutely faultless. I think in the time I've owned it, I've spent €40 at the dealer, and that was because I asked them to do a battery health check, because I bought the car used. So the other perspective is, why are electric cars falling in value so much? Because people are frightened of them. And again, I come from a different perspective. I used to race electric model cars when I was very young, and I'm 62 years old and oddly still have some of the parts. You put them together and they still work. So therefore I look at this electric motor and I think, well, if I've got an electric motor from when I was 15 and it still works, and all that did was be thrashed around a racetrack, I'm looking at this in the same vein. So therefore for me, an electric car was never an issue. I was never concerned about it. Battery, this has got a fairly lengthy warranty on the battery. So again, I wasn't particularly concerned. But as a vehicle, it's very fast. It's costs nothing to run. It's incredibly enjoyable. It feels so sturdy. The build quality of this car is fantastic. So I'm absolutely over the moon with it. The negatives I've got of the car is really, I didn't realise I'd like it as much as I do, and possibly really I needed a 4-seater. So as a family vehicle, we've got a T-Cross that my wife drives, and we tend to go everywhere in that, because there's generally 4 of us if we're going somewhere together, and the dog, and we don't use the Mini. So that's my disappointment with it. I can get shabby in the back. It's got a reasonable boot, but the leg room is appalling. You can get, Nathan sometimes goes in the back, he's 6'2", but it's cramped. You're not going to pretend it's not. You can get in for a journey, but for taking 4, if you're going somewhere, it's just nicer to use a 4-door car. So therefore that's my one criticism, but that's not of the car, that's of my choice of purchasing. Perfect. Right, a little bit inside so you can see the quality of the vehicle, and this is what I'm getting at. This all feels so strong. I love the design. Obviously to start the Mini, you just press there. I'd left the heating on, so bear with me. Heated seats in this one. Another feature that I think is probably overlooked, let me turn my terrible music off. And one of the things that I think is sort of slightly overlooked on a car is the self-parking. And I can park. It's hard to believe that you'd even use it. Well, I use the self-parking every single day because it's quite tight outside our house, and it's just so simple and so intuitive. It's brilliant. Heated seats, it's Portugal, as you can see, I've got them on. Temperature, this is so much better than the new one. The new one's got a lovely screen, but I've driven it and it's, I mean, I don't say I hate it because I don't, but this is so good. The digital screen there I don't look at a lot, because this one comes with a sort of plastic pop-up head-up display. Again, would have never thought that was of any use to me. It's just sort of there. You've got your speed all of the time. This one comes with twin panoramic roof. I'd virtually never open it. Nathan does. And that really is everything that I can say about its features. Seat comfort, exceptional. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of the Union Jack on the car because I live in Portugal, so it embarrasses me slightly as I'm an immigrant. But it lights up at night and really looks fantastic. So I've got past all of that. It's got a Harman Kardon sound system, which is really, really good. You can get Death of Guitar Pop playing at a very high volume, which I love. So everything about it, the vehicle is now 5 years old. My personal opinion, we look after a car reasonably well, but I'm not the only owner of it. Someone else had it before me, and everything still looks, in my opinion, as good as new. So I can only highly recommend this vehicle. So let's have a look outside. I've got my favourite thing about it, and this is something that I'd never thought, is I love the app. Oh, the app is just fantastic. We live in Portugal. As I've said many a time, very lucky to do so. And today, it's a little bit nippy, got the old jumper on. Well, I'm eating my breakfast, I press the button, you can hear it now, it's ticking away, the aircon is on inside, keeping the car nice and cool. I put it on when it's cold, it's all nice and warm, love it. And one of the things I'd like to drive is probably a 1980s Mercedes, but this sounds pathetic, I couldn't lose the app. I love it, and it just seems such a daft thing to like in a car, but when it's 40 degrees here and you can get into the car and it's ice cold, oh, it's gorgeous, really is fantastic. And other than that, extremely comfortable, extremely economical, incredibly well made, and I'm struggling to put faults that have got anything to do with the car. In fact, there aren't any. The faults are only down to me and my choice of purchasing a car with 2 doors. So from a longevity point of view, the car feels as good as the day I think it was made. I've driven a new one, and the newer Mini doesn't actually feel as strong as this one. The build quality inside, the strength of that dashboard, I'm so impressed with it. I'm struggling to give you any, well, I haven't got any negatives about it at all. And that is quite impressive. So from me as an owner of an electric car, I don't go very far. We tend to go down. We live sort of just above, if anyone knows anything about Portugal, the main airport in the Algarve is Faro. Faro from here is about 25 kilometres from where we live. We live just slightly in the hills. I can go down there, come back, go down again, come back, drive round. I don't need to charge it up. When I bought this, I thought I'd need to charge it every day, but I'm getting between 150 and 200 kilometres, and my daily drive, it's just not an issue to me. Nathan's taken it to Lisbon, and that's when, again, this becomes an issue because it's so cheap to run. We didn't realise just how cheap it was going to be. It would be quite nice for Nathan to drive to Lisbon in it. I can use his car, so it sort of doesn't matter to me that he takes it. But the charging aspect to get to Lisbon, which is 300-ish kilometres from here, he's needing to charge it sort of twice, once while he's there and twice coming home. And electric cars in Portugal have suddenly taken off, and the infrastructure is probably as everywhere. It's not quite as good as it should be, and actually waiting for it to charge isn't really the issue, because by the time you bought a coffee and had a wee, it charges really quickly, but it's actually making sure you want the confidence. You know, you go in and put fuel in a car, you know, if there's 3 people in front of you, it doesn't matter. If there's 3 people in front of you with an electric car, you know you've got an hour and a half to wait, and that's just unacceptable. So if it was me driving to Lisbon every single day, I wouldn't buy an electric car, but how many people do that sort of distance? Very few. So the actual economy of this one hasn't been an issue for me. It is for Nathan. So there you're seeing the 2 different styles of life. But if you've got a girlfriend who lived a little bit nearer, you wouldn't have the problem, would you? So there we are. So that is a quick review. It's if you're thinking about buying a Mini and you're thinking about buying an electric car, you're getting 100% recommendation from me. If the Mini suits your lifestyle, and I'm ignoring the powertrain at this point, the Mini is a fabulous car. I think it's just really, really fit for purpose, it's been designed well, and I think grab yourself a bargain. The electric ones seem to be depreciating. It'll cost you next to nothing to run. You can buy it cheaper, and actually I think it's more fun. The power is addictive, and I'm an old man. My sort of wheel spinning days are past me. They've slightly come back because of the Mini. I love it. Now, if you're going to buy an electric car, you get a fair warranty on the batteries. I really think it's more of an issue in people's minds than it is in reality. I'm seeing electric Leafs, and I'm seeing the Renault Zoes here used as taxis have got galactic mileage on them. They're now getting quite old, and we got one back the other day, jumped in this car. It was really nice, went really well, and it had absolutely hundreds of thousands of kilometres on the clock. So I think people have got a false impression of electric cars, but you know, it's just from a personal perspective. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're interested in an electric Mini and you've got any questions that I haven't answered, because I haven't answered that many, drop them in the comments and I'll give you an honest answer. So I'm enjoying my time with the Mini, but hopefully you can get something from this and get one yourself. That's my final thing. Go buy one.
One day I'll change all of my wicked ways.